And we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 28 of Portfolio Reviews. I'm going to destroy a aspiring artist today. So witness tears, gnashing of teeth, fits, hatred, anger, frustration. It's all going to come out in this next hour. So I'm Thibert. I'm the destroyer of wills. And nah, I'm not going to do any of those things, guys. Thibert, 35 years, comic book industry, Marvel, DC. You guys know I've done just about it all. And yeah, and here's where we talk about art for an hour. I review aspiring artists' work, and I try to be as constructive as possible. So I'm not going to destroy anybody's will or anything or their desire to draw. I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm going to try to inspire as much as possible. So we have, as always, the talented writer-artist Taylor Grosso.
Hi, everybody. I'll be reading your chat today. If you have any questions for art, a 30-plus year vet in the comic industry, I will be your voice. Go ahead and join the conversation.
Yeah, an emphasis on the plus. I like that. Plus 5 years. Wow, I can't believe this is episode 25. We've already done 25 of these.
28.
Oh, 28. Gosh darn. Oh, jeez. I was obsessed on 5. Yeah, 28. So, yeah, like I said, this is where we review aspiring artists' work and try to inspire them to do some better work. So here we go. Did you want anything? You wanted to add anything, Taylor? You want to talk about anything?
Should I mention that this is kind of a special episode?
Sure.
So this episode in particular, if you've been watching the series, there's been a couple episodes where art focuses on certain artists, just because we've been getting a pretty steady influx of people sending a lot of stuff, and we're always looking for more submissions. So if you would like to submit, the link will be in the description to the Dropbox. Maybe send, like, if you have a lot, try to keep only like 3 pieces, but this week, it's
yeah, the reason she says that is somebody sent an entire book. I don't have time to look through an entire book. I appreciate you sending it, but yeah, I don't have time. But go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, so try to limit it to 3, because as much as Art would like to read that, there's a lot of people in there. But keep them coming. But this episode is focusing on our very own, the creator of Indiecron, Pixel Trader, has submitted his work here.
Yes, and I hope after this Pixel we can still be friends. So if you guys know Pixel and he's not tuned in right now, get him over here for the live portfolio review of our friend Pixel Trader. Now I feel intimidated. Actually, I think I want to start with his pencils. So these are Pixel Trader's pencils. So not bad. Good gestures.
The style reminds me of somebody, but I can't place who.
What do they call that? You know, that kind of like urban art. What is it, like where they like spray paint art? What is that called?
I forget the term, but yeah, like a graffiti type.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I think you inked him. Who was the artist that inked, well, you inked it, but the person who penciled, there was like an X-Men artist for a while that was a similar style.
It's like kind of Roger Cruz, Joe Mad, maybe.
Humberto Ramos.
Yeah, Humberto Ramos. That's one, I've never inked Humberto. I think this is some of Pixel's best work right here. The girl on the cell phone that's not fully drawn yet. Okay. So.
It's got good taste in music.
9-inch nails. Yeah, it's very cartoony. Do you think this is a locker that he's...
Are they in a high school or are they in like a...
It looks like he's opening something.
It does.
Maybe it's a door. It looks small for
Oh,
an
it's
actual
the men's
door.
room.
Okay.
I see what you mean though. 'Cause
But I mean, if that's a full-size door,
it's pretty narrow.
yeah.
All those multiple X's. I guess he knew the penciling language as far as that.
Yeah. Well, are they... Looks like they're in a mall, right?
Yeah.
Because here's like escalators, and looks like there may be like some kind of dome detail here, like ceiling domes. I'd actually like to see it with storefronts and things over here and here.
Yeah. Blue Line Pro, it says on the paper.
Yeah, you guys, that's not great paper. Don't use it. It's hard to ink on. That, at least the old stuff, it would bleed, so it wasn't great
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
for inking. I don't understand the kaboom. Is there a setup for the kaboom?
Doesn't look like it.
And then it looks like he opens the bathroom door and there's like a fire. K-boom. I'm a big fan of the K-boom. Blue Line Pro, yeah. I don't even know if they still make that. I remember people would bring up Blue Line Pro work at conventions or pages that had inks on them, and there was a lot of bleeding on the page. And so sometimes as a professional, you look at it, you just think, well, you know, maybe they just don't know how to ink, and so the paper's bleeding. Because sometimes if you don't ink right, you can rip the paper and it'll bleed. And so I kept getting these back, these Blue Line Pro pages, and kept seeing similarities with the people that would come up with that paper. And so I just asked them if I could flip over the board and ink a little bit on the back of the paper. And when I did, it bled. So,
Oh man.
yeah, so I really felt bad for the people that were thinking it was like professional quality paper, but it just doesn't take to the inks very well. So I don't recommend the Blue Line Pro paper, you guys, just because of that. It doesn't really take to the inks very well. It looks like, I mean, most things you can pencil on, but inking is something else. You really need good quality paper to ink on. So it looks like he's reacting to the kaboom, and then he goes into the bathroom.
What brand do you recommend? Says Ask Wolverine.
That's a good question. The Strathmore Bristol board, just at any art store, is usually pretty good. And they have a 2-ply, and do it. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now. There's hard press and cold press. And whichever, sometimes they'll say rough and smooth. So always go the smooth, unless you like a lot of texture when you ink, but I don't. I have used it. DC board used to be really, really textured, and I didn't like that. So I like the smooth stuff better. I'm trying to think hot press. I don't think they use those terms anymore, so I think it's just rough or smooth.
Yeah.
So get smooth, the smooth board. And just any Strathmore Bristol board is good. And I believe they make it 11 by 17 as well, so you can get it to size that you need. So that's a great shot, him looking down at the bathroom there after the explosion.
This page is a lot more dynamic than the other one.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you think that's a hole in the ceiling probably, and they're looking at the moon?
I think so, yeah.
Black with stars. Usually BWS stands for black with stars. So it looks like he's looking up, and maybe these are some of the neon tubes for the lighting on the ceiling.
This page isn't bad.
Yeah, I like the storytelling, because it looks like also that maybe this could be one of those lighting rigs like this. So he's connecting those two things up. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, and so this is just in case you didn't put it together. Here's a reestablishing
Uh,
shot of the hole in the roof, and then him in relationship to it. This is a good page. This is really, the storytelling is really strong on this page. There's a lot of reaction shots though. So there's reaction, 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 and then a reveal. Well, this is kind of a reveal too, but he's still kind of reacting, and then a kind of reveal reacting. So there's a lot of similar beats that are happening here. It depends on the dialogue and how quickly or slowly you want to reveal the story. But I think for this case, it's pretty strong. It works really well. So let's go back to the pencil. So this looks like a setup to that page. So yeah, I think the angle is probably not serving this very well. It might be a little too extreme for a establishing shot. I think I'm in the wrong mode. How do I get into
let's see.
RGB?
Oh yeah, change to RGB.
Yeah, here we go.
This is probably kind of hard to judge too because it's not really complete. So if you guys send your stuff in the future, completed pieces are always, I think, easier.
Yeah, it's a little hard. But I can see where this page is going. This is one of the exceptions. But I think I would bring the eye level down to here. It's a little too high. And so the eye level, the way it is now, it's somewhere in here. And the reason how you can tell is if you bring these lines here and then here, this would be your vanishing point right in here. So then everything should come off of that vanishing point, which it does. So he set it up right, but I think this extreme isn't setting it up very well. I think it would be a little bit more welcoming if it was lower. And so then, well, let me see. So then, let me see how this would work out. So then your opening would be here, maybe, and then all your vanishing points come off, or your whatever. Actually, it makes it look, I think you'd have to pull that back further. It's kind of weird that it looks like an opening, but maybe it's supposed to go past the escalators. So maybe there's supposed to be a wall here. So then, actually, yeah, now that I'm setting this up, maybe the eye level more where I was thinking at first. Let's try this. It's hard, guys. I'm just trying to set this up. I just think it's a little too exaggerated, maybe, for the shot. I think it looks too narrow too, like usually malls are wider.
Yeah, I think that's. I didn't really notice that, but it definitely looks pretty narrow.
It looks like a hallway. I think it needs to be opened up if it's a mall. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how to resolve this. If I could sketch it in quicker by hand, I think I would. It would be easier. But something like this, just bringing it down here, and then a lot of this stuff would be less exaggerated. This thing that they're sitting on here.
A fountain?
Yeah, it looks like a fountain. Maybe a little less exaggerated. Bring it down a little lower. I don't know, this looks like a doorway to me. Maybe.
I think because that's the natural place where probably a shop would be that like she'd be coming out of.
Yeah, maybe.
I think just like if the shops were indicated, it would help a lot to figure out kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want to bring this down. So maybe more of the resolve would just be to bring that doorway down. Yeah, this is why like draw, redraw, try to figure things out. But for me, I think that this this perspective is maybe I don't know, where did we say his vanishing point was? Somewhere in here. Somewhere in here, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Do 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 do. Oh man, I had the Halloween song in my head. Yeah, I think bring the doorway down here, I think would help. It looks a little too exaggerated. It seems like if the doorway was right in here, and then you could stack the figures a little bit more and get more into your storefronts here, your different shops, the little names. And your little displays. Little mannequin. I guess it'd be smaller. Maybe if it was drawn more, if there was more drawn in. Get some reference on stuff. Let's find this opening.
I get a weird sense that this is like a 90s mall for some reason, but the shops would definitely help drive that point home if it is.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna let's put some shapes in here. Different storefronts. It kind of helps, but I don't know, like if this maybe was pulled back further, it just looks kind of small to me.
It looks real narrow.
Yeah. So also, photographic reference can help because there's got to be a lot of pictures of malls and stuff that exist. So maybe if maybe like that, and so then this becomes like a big storefront window here. And maybe these are the doors so that it opens up. So it's starting to look like it's getting scale now, is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know about those escalators.
Yeah, we can put like just a hinted crowd inside the store. And put a mannequin or something.
Also, I'm hoping that that woman in the front, I'm hoping is a main character or something, because if she's just like a random civilian and she's dressed like that.
Yeah, she looks like she just worked out or something, or she's from the future.
Yeah, she looks very futuristic in comparison to all the other characters. She looks more superhero-y.
Yeah. There's one thing that you can do sometimes with these shots, because I think what you want to do is you want to, now that you mention it, Taylor, you got me thinking, that you can do, because she is also taking a lot of the importance compositionally, and I think you want to see those guys sitting there at the fountain. I think those are your two main characters. So one thing you can do is you want to show that there's a crowd and that there's people at this mall. Life is happening. But what you can do is, let me see if I can do this. Oops, I gotta go back. And go back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's do this. See where she's at. A little too big.
It definitely gives a better sense of space, I think.
Yeah. And then she becomes a framing device versus like a main character. I should have did a layers before, but like if you could see this, like where she would be cropped here. Let me see. Okay, I'll apply it. Did I apply it? Yeah. Okay. So let's just say this is the border right here where it was. So then the only thing I'm going to be hiding is the kaboom. So
you guys will have to imagine the kaboom.
Always imagine the kaboom. So then the idea here is that if she's big, then she becomes more of a framing device in the image than a main character. So then see how she starts framing this in more? She was kind of before, but as a full figure, it was a little bit off. And if this character crosses over, or there's like overlap, like all through here, like even this figure here, there's overlap, then these people just become the crowd. And then these guys become the focus. And also Pixel has this nice escalator. So now you have this movement going down here, and it comes back onto these guys here. So I still really want this ground line. Let's just say, I'm going to go back on this, and I know I'm harping on it, but that's kind of the artist thing where it's things that nag at you, and you just got to kind of figure it out. So if the ground level is more here, so the escalator wall or whatever this is coming down, and then it continues here, then of course these guys would be a little bit bigger in frame in the background, but it starts looking, I think, a little bit more like it's a little section of the mall, like a little piece of the mall, and then it starts kind of framing this in. I know this was kind of a long haul, you guys, but sometimes it takes me a while to figure out some of this stuff and how.
I didn't even notice that like little planter area until you pointed it out. It made a big difference.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would make the line down here a little lower, and then I'm just kind of making up the vanishing point. I've kind of given up that, but where the escalator maybe comes more in this direction here. Yeah, maybe, yeah. This is starting to work. Yeah.
Do you think the checkerboard floor is also like kind of...
Yeah, it's not serving it. And also, I think his instinct was probably correct not to put the blacks in, because I think as soon as you put the blacks in, you're going to realize that it's probably not a really good move. Another good observation, Taylor.
Oh, thank you. I speak for the users.
You are much like that character in Tron. Yeah, so if it was the floor a little less heavy and a little bit more simplified, because I do think you're right. If those blacks were in there, it's really going to throw stuff off. Your eye, your focus, everything. Whoops, wrong color.
Yeah, it's starting to... It doesn't look as narrow now.
Yeah, so something like that. This would probably have, you know, something like that. So you can kind of see, and then I think, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's really light, but Pixel has this kind of nice dome shape back here. So I've given up on trying to find a vanishing point, you guys, so I'm just kind of making this stuff up, just eyeing it. But to where, you know, you have maybe some kind of ceiling design here. So then it looks like Pixel has some people back here. I would also possibly, it's pretty highly unlikely that there'd be escalator with no one on it. So, and then maybe somebody going up, make them bigger because they're closer.
When it comes to getting like reference material for settings like this, like the mall, where do you usually get them besides trying to take candid photos and not look weird at the mall?
I would actually just take candid figures and look like a weirdo at the mall.
I feel like it's the only way.
There's so much reference though on the internet, but the thing is, if you go to your mall, you can shoot around, like you can move and get the exact shots that you want. If you're, you know, a slave to the internet, then you're only going to be able to get what the internet is going to provide. So since I kind of lowered the perspective, this, let me go with a thinner line. This little water feature here would probably be less exaggerated. So it'd be less looking at the top of it and more at the bottom, or like more this way than this way. So I hope this helped. I think this actually is starting to look more like a hustle and bustle of a mall, and because I think that's what Pixel was going for here.
Pixel, if you tune into this later, you should totally remaster this page using Art's advice. Make a video.
Pixel's remastering.
Durakin says, artists must look like a weirdo. It's a necessity. And Wolverine says, I don't even know how many years / decades it's been since I saw a mall. I think that's why I thought this was from the 90s too, because there's not a lot of malls left.
Yeah, if you guys want to see some kind of spooky stuff, there's photos on the internet of old malls that were just abandoned.
Oh, those are cool.
And those storefronts and everything are still there. So it's a weird haunting snapshot of of a better vanish time.
I like those old pictures. I know the exact stuff. I read an article about that. I think the exact thing you're talking about.
Man, I'm getting strangely obsessed with this.
It's coming together.
There's something about perspective. It drives me wild. Yeah, I really like perspective. And then I would recess that. So you get a little bit of the edge of the escalator here. It reminds you of what?
Oh, last time somebody asked if you would ever consider doing a like how to draw book with like a perspective book or something. Is that something you'd ever consider doing?
I don't know. Writing a book, I think, would be boring. I'd rather do it here live and crushing spirits and destroying future artists. You guys don't know this, but this is my way of eliminating future future competition. You guys think I'm helping. I'm not. So like if you do these lines right here, then look at this. You establish like little storefronts back here. So anyways, you guys, you kind of get the feeling of everything here. And you can put mannequins or whatever in here.
N.E. Dynamo asked, R.T. Bear, any opinion on the Mike S. Miller conspiracy theory that he actually wears a wig and is as bald as Lex Luthor?
Oh, I've seen that beautiful head of hair. There's no way that's a wig. I think there's very few people in life Mike's age that can pull that off. And Mike is one of the few.
It suits him. I can't even picture him with short hair.
I know, I can't. It's like it's his thing. He makes it all work. Wow, look at that. I'm sorry, you guys. I think it looks cool.
It does. It's kind of a cool layout, actually, when it's... I like that punk guy's shoes.
Yeah. Well, there's a nice slice of life stuff. There's this backpack, and you get these are great gestures. Like this guy's laying back. You know, this guy looks like I mean, there's character here. There's like, you know, he's not shaken by much. He's kind of just like, oh well, whatever, man. And this guy is like the worrywart, right? He's like, oh, I don't know, man.
That's pretty good.
Something happened here. One other warning sign. When you guys do stuff like this, you have people pointing. Never underestimate the power of a finger pointing, because what can happen is your eye can go here and then your eye will go exactly where he's pointing. So if you're going to have a character point, have them pointing in a direction you want them to point, not in a direction you don't. So I don't know if this is a storytelling point where he's actually wants... You know, Pixel wants the reader's eye to go here, but I don't think he does. So I think you want to keep the reader's eye right in here.
Yeah.
So that's why I did this. And then all of this stuff becomes a framing device for this place right here. And that's why you keep this part open and simple. Oh, excuse me. And then you make her bigger, because when you crop her out and these characters are full figure, you're prioritizing the way the reader's eye will go, and you're using her as a framing device. So like this guy will be partially cropped, like behind him, and then the kid, you know, that was here will be there. The girl on the phone is behind her, and then these figures are all behind him. So these characters are all stacked. They're all like together in a group. but these two are alone. So it really does help the reader's eye go to here. This all this becomes just a framing device. And so be aware of that when you draw stuff. And also, I know all the lines kind of come into here. So one of the things too, when you set up perspective lines or vanishing points, always be aware of that, because these, just like this finger, these become subliminal movements for the eye. So, excuse me, because this is the vanishing point or eye level where your eye is, then your eye actually will go to that place. Because that's just how we are. So this is where the eye level or vanishing point is. So always be aware of that too. The vanishing point doesn't always have to be focused right on the main characters, but just be aware that when you set these things up, that you're aware that your vanishing point and all your background lines are also creating a subliminal finger. So your finger's pointing this way and the fingers are pointing this way. Oops, sorry.
Bouncy cam.
Bouncy cam. Like this. So your fingers are pointing in these directions. So the reason this works, and the genius of this panel, the way Pixel laid it out, was this escalator. So what this escalator does is the eyes all go here, but then the escalator brings your eyes down here to these two figures. So that's why this panel's working. And also, like I said before, this becomes just framing device. So always be aware of that when you're setting these type of shots up. The vanishing points and the perspective can be your friend. They can bring your eye into seeing where you want the reader's eye to go.
By the way, this is labeled page 1, and I don't know if it actually is like page 1 of a sequence, but it's kind of weird. Like I thought those two guys that were sitting at the fountain were main characters, because like you said, they're like framed in, but then these two guys are neither of those two.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I thought they were those guys.
I did too, but one guy doesn't have a mohawk, I just noticed.
Wait a minute. No, you're right. So that's just an establishing shot of them all.
Weird, right? That's my
For some reason, yeah, that's a good... I registered that as this guy, and this guy was that guy. Yeah. Okay. So now it gets even stranger. So this is just a slice of life at the mall. I still like it better with her cropped.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It still works. So then this explosion that happens here is just totally
in a different
random
scene or something. Leodora says, you can get Perspective Made Easy by Ernest R. Norling as a PDF for free online.
Oh, cool.
That's good to know for the chat.
Yeah, I can't get enough of those type of books. So he's got the perspective set up good. This is the doorway right here. So this is a men's room sign here. So, and you guys can't see it, it's pretty light, but this is like flame. So he's opening the door and there's flame inside the door.
Oh man, guess who's in the chat right now? Pixel Trader.
Well, did you see this, Pixel? Hey, maybe you can answer, like, are these main characters? Or is this just a slice of life mall scene? And then these two guys are the main characters. And also, Taylor brought up, is this the first page of the book? So this is the first time we see, I guess, our main characters? Maybe?
Yeah, it's labeled page 1, so I'm really curious.
Yeah, so you hear a sound, a kaboom, and apparently there's an explosion, but nobody's fazed by it. So,
Pixel says, so I screwed up the hair.
The hair?
The hair? We haven't even...
No. No, the drawing's pretty good. I like the more like cartoon style, and it's kind of graffiti-ish, I guess. The way it's stylized. No, no, no. The style's pretty cool. I think you can refine the style. Just keep working on it. I'm just more or less going on the storytelling aspects and the perspective. Man, I didn't even have to beat Pixel down. He beat himself up.
Confidence is key.
Yes. What do you think, Taylor? So now that my theory about these two guys is gone.
Yeah, I don't know. 'Cause, it kind of looks like the one guy that's wearing the glasses is like lamenting, and he's kind of looking at that girl. He was looking at her before, but now it looks even more like he's looking at her. So I was wondering if he was like lamenting. And
But he's not looking at
he's
her.
not.
He's looking at this guy.
Oh, for some reason I read him as looking at her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird opener for like, it's weird to open a page and then do like a scene change real quick of like an unestablished place. That's my biggest criticism.
Yeah, because also when the kaboom happens, I don't know where it is in relationship to the mall here.
Pixel says, I think there might have been a page before this actually.
Okay,
But I guess it's been a while.
That sets these two guys up, maybe. Yeah, if there's a page that sets these two characters up, it'll work better. But I think I still would have put them in that shot. And also, if this is the restroom door, yeah, I don't know how the story would work. It could still work, but I don't know. Usually the way these things work just visually is you set the shot up and you see maybe the bathroom somewhere, right? And so then this shot is the bathroom exploding. So you can still see these characters in relationship to the explosion. Yeah. And then you would probably see characters running over to where the explosion was, and then you would have them opening the door, kind of thing.
The gestures and stuff are pretty good, though.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the way the hand is grabbing the edge of the door. It's pretty good. If these two guys are in relationship to each other, this guy's really, really tall. So I think what I would do... Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I either move this guy up or make this guy smaller and move him down a little bit, because this guy looks like he's in a hole, or that he's a lot smaller than this guy. So it looks like he's reacting like to where the explosion was. I guess the explosion was in the bathroom, so maybe you wouldn't see it from the outside, but yeah, it still seems like it needs to be set up somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys, I like the style. I like the way they're cartooned. There's one thing I have a little bit, I know it's cartooned, but I think if there was maybe a little bit more structure in here. So you brought out the ear and then maybe just a little bit on the head, because the thing is, like, the jaw is narrower. Like if you looked at like a skull or a head from the side view, like there's kind of an oval, and then there's this part where the jaw and the front of the face comes in. So the back, or the cranial area of the head is always bigger, and then the jaw is narrow. So you have like the jaw and the head almost the same. So if you maybe came out a little bit and gave the back of the head, it might be a little bit more successful in the cartooning and style, because I do like the style, Pixel. I think it's very cool. Something like that might help. And these are stylistic things. That the back of the head was kind of a structural thing, but this is more of a personal for me. you have a lot of upturned noses. So maybe if some of these noses were a little bit more, see that structure there? Oh, you can't see it. Ha.
Actually, I can see it on my screen.
Oh, okay. So it was kind of like the nostrils down here, and then the opening was kind of going in this direction. So it's not a bad style, but I think if you just had one character like that, but not necessarily a lot of your characters, because then it's not a character trait anymore. It's more of just like, it's just how you're drawing everything. So this guy is the same. Do we have a question?
Oh, Pixel just said it was heavily influenced by Humberto Ramos. And somebody asked, Leodara asked, how many pages would I have to draw to get a portfolio review? You can just send in one piece if you want.
Yeah, you don't have to send a bazillion pieces in. But I do have, there's two things. One, that it's high res and that your name's attached to it. Well, three things, and that it's comic book related, like it's drawn in a comic book style, like what Pixel Trader did here.
Pinups are cool, but sequential's preferred.
Yeah, I like this stuff more. There's a little bit more meat here, but you can kind of see Pixel how they start looking a little bit. I guess I don't know, aesthetically. It works a little bit better. This guy's got a little bit more of a jaw, which works, and then the ear is resolved, and then you have the back of a head here. So this guy's pretty good.
Darakan asks, what is the sound effect for hearing a 10-year-old crying off panel?
Wah, I don't know. A 10-year-old?
That's a little old to be crying.
Yeah, that's a little old. I'd say if a 10-year-old's crying in a public place, then they may be a little entitled or spoiled.
There should be no sound effect for a 10-year-old crying in public.
So, here's a little tidbit too. This is kind of the ear idea and structure as well. So she kind of suffers from the same kind of back of the head situation. So if you drew through this, even though it's cartoony, so I drew a, kind of a cartoony shape, that this would probably, be coming over more like that. So she'd have a little bit more of a back of a head. So something more like that. But I do really like the cartoon shape, and sometimes girls look cute with the upturned nose, but I think they're getting a little skeletal-y with the noses. So if you bring down the nostril a little bit, it'll work better. And then what I would do here too is I would pull this eye back.
I liked the nose, says Nick.
I did too, but it's a little
sharp, I think.
Yeah, you can do the kind of upturn, kind of cutie girl nose, but I think that it was a little too much. So
Pixel is obsessing over the eyes on the next page. Said, I'm gonna die when the eyes come up next.
No, I like the big eyes. I like the style that you're using. I just think that, especially when you draw bigger eyes, you have to space them further apart, because they just they start looking really close together. So just pull it back a little bit. I mean, I didn't pull it back that much, but just kind of enough. So that's that. let's get into this. So also, if you do the upturned nose, not that I'm dwelling. It went into a different scale. It went into. I lost my RGB.
That's another thing, you guys. Like the resolution's important. Like as long as it's like 300 preferred. But if you could, even if you have black and white images, maybe have them in RGB just for the ease of art drawing over it like this, because otherwise then we got to check the mode of everything. It's not a big deal. It's just it'd be easier.
Yeah, it does help. Let me see here. Get rid of that line.
Hey, Curtis Wyndham is in the chat.
Curtis Wyndham! Boomer bud.
We should get him back soon.
Tales from Boomertown. Actually, he's a tech guy, so I don't know if he's a true boomer or not. This is like one of those back of the head kind of cranial things here. So I think, you know, you have the eyes, which are cool. I like the style. But I think if you drew more of back of a head, structure the skull a little bit more, you'll find that the eyes become, they accommodate the stylization that you're going for a little bit better. Because I really do like this style. It's very cool. And here's one of... I think also if you built the structure of the head more out, it would help you with the eyes, because I think you're making things very narrow, and that can be part of a style. But oh, cool. It can be part of style, but I think it still has to work a little bit more structurally, because these eyes are really close together. So excuse me, let's see if I can do this. Move the eye over without redrawing your version, and then get rid of this. So you can see it's starting to structure up a little bit better, and with the bigger skull, it's accommodating the eyes. The eyes have it.
Curtis says, LOL, right? Boomers rule.
Oh.
And Nick says, boomers made the first computers, so... That's a valid point, Nick.
Yes, thank you, Nick.
And if you guys want to see Kurt and Art chat about their childhood growing up and comics, you should totally check out the episode of Boomin' Out Loud.
Yeah, I think, was it our first Boomin' Out Loud?
I think that's our first official episode.
Yeah. And so I grew up with Kurt. We were little kids. We grew up together reading comic books and building forts and making models and wreaking havoc on our neighborhood. It was our thing. It's what we did.
Hey, Peter Palmiotti. We got a lot of people joining us now.
Oh, cool. We got beat up a lot, too, in those early days. You know, we got beat up a lot, and you know what? We beat up a lot of people, too. It was a good time. So, yeah, so that's my 2 cents on your head structures. I think you could benefit from just maybe making more of the, like this could even go up a little higher, and then the back of a head a little bit, and then your eyes are a little close together. It kind of works there as a cartoon element, but yeah, I like this arm shape. That's really good. These hands are really
They're
nice.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, your hand, because these aren't like normal hand placements and stuff. So it's really good, and I had no problem with figuring out that this was a bathroom. So kudos there as well. So yeah, he's coming into the bathroom and he's like, "Whoa, what is going on? What's going on?" And he's like, "Ooh." Maybe something from outside made this explosion.
Like all the gestures are pretty good.
Yeah. And I do like all the cartooning. This is a really nice shot. The perspective and the storytelling is really good. I like the water on the floor. Yeah, it's very nice. I have no problem, no qualms.
Let's see. Rhaegar says, I still haven't made it to see Halloween yet. I always get to the theater and select another movie instead. Well, you should totally go see
What
Halloween.
other movies out right now? Is that Freddie Mercury one, that Bohemian out?
Oh yeah, I don't know if that's out yet. It's a Friday night, Rhaegar. After this, you should go see. You should go see Halloween. RBT says you should go see Mamma Mia too.
Mamma Mia too? I'm so there. I'm down. Taylor and I, when we were working the other day, we just did a marathon, like, well, not marathon. Well, I guess it was. Like just a whole day of listening to ABBA songs. I had no idea they were so good. So this looks like, okay, he's looking up, and this is a hole in the roof, which is a pretty killer shot. So the neat thing about this is I'm going to see if I can do this shape. Mamma Mia. Oh my. What did she say? My.
How can I resist you?
So once that black's in, look at that.
Oh, that makes a huge difference.
Look at that, yeah.
I wish this was inked, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna rock. So it's pretty cool. And what I would do, Pixel, when you ink this, keep this hatching is really, it's good. And it helps still focus it in, but I would not do a solid black right here. Let me scoot it over. I don't know if you can see it. I would not do a solid black right here. I would keep these hatched. Keep them all open. Keep all your solid blacks right in here. And keep this moon pretty simple too. I don't think I would even do much hatch work in the moon there. And then and let me give me a red. Get my red back. Right here, I would not bring a solid black either. I would hatch it or something else right there. And I keep all my blacks right in this center because it'll be a nice, oh, excuse me, bold image. I just had like a mocha latte. I think I'm crashing now.
Doing the opposite's making you tired.
Yeah. So here's the same. So you get to see the opening in the ceiling with the moon.
Peter just saw The Incredibles 2 and the chat is talking about it. Where do you weigh in on Incredibles 2? Or should we save that for another video?
Oh my gosh. Taylor and I are pretty opinionated about that movie. Maybe we'll save it.
We should do a versus of Incredibles 2 versus... oh gosh, what was it? We just saw a movie and we said it was like a better version.
Of The Incredibles?
Of The Incredibles 2 in particular. Shoot, what was it? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, there was though. Yeah, I can't either. So this is one of those things, you're intriguing me with your perspective. So I would think that that would probably be the wall. Your eye level would... Don't hold me to this eye level. I got screwed up last time. So something like this. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a ceiling grid here.
Was it Fantastic Four S. Rhaegar? No.
What was it?
I don't remember.
So then you would get you get rid of these lines here. So then you have your ceiling going there. And then your wall. I want a red. Then your wall would come down something like this. And also, by drawing this in real quick, I would put my door, whoops, that he came into somewhere.
That makes a big difference.
You know, I have a combination of that Mamma Mia song and that
and Halloween.
And Halloween, exactly. Ding 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 ding.
Don't go chase. Oh, it's wasting your emotions. Already checked the lyrics.
For what?
Another ABBA song. The one I didn't get to show you yesterday.
What was the one that we said was genius?
Knowing me, knowing you.
Oh my gosh, that song is, and dare I say it, badass. Like, that's a badass ABBA song.
It is. It's their best, I think.
Because the guitar goes da na na da na da da. Like there's progressions in that song. Da na 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 da da da. I want to hear Disturbed cover that song. Knowing me, knowing you. There is nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you.
Do do. It still has that
Bum
part.
bum. Yeah. So I gotta focus back on that. Yeah. So this is really a cool upshot. What I would do. This guy back here looks like he might be a little high in the composition. I don't know if you can see him. He's kind of just gestured in. Let me see if I can. There's a lot of pointing in this story.
There is. TC just arrived in the chat and they say, just tuning in, is Art ripping someone a new one this time?
Hells yeah. I'm gonna make him cry. So let's give this guy a little bit of a head. This time out, it's Pixel Trader's tears. The tears of a traitor.
Aww.
He's a pixel traitor. He's a traitor to the crown.
And a threat to the Empire.
And a threat to the Empire. This is a cool layout, dude. This really is. I like it.
I think seeing the black around that moon in action really helped.
Yeah. There's cool angles. There's a lot of movement. You got the reaction close up. You got a straight on shot. You have a down shot. Then you have an extreme up shot. And then just an interesting kind of wide angled up shot. One thing you could do as well, actually you could still do it with this figure the way it is. You can. Oops.
Derek can ask, is that a 2-pager that's turned on its side? No, it's just a long panel.
Yeah. So what you can do, Pixel, is you can put it into a vanishing point up here, and then you can bring your lines down here. So by doing that, it looks more like a worm's eye view, and then subliminally, remember I was telling you guys about perspective lines? You're bringing the lines this way. So one of the things you can do, well, let me just finish the thought and make it work a little better, is if I redraw these lines here. Do-do-do-do-do-do. There is nothing we can do. Like that. So then you have these lines, boom, boom, coming up here. And then you have this guy pointing straight up. This guy will probably have to be skewed a little bit, so he's in perspective too. But the way you have this movement, the shoulders narrow and him wider here, it gives the impression that, you know, the camera's down here, your eye level's down here, and you're looking your way up. This is a really cool, interesting panel, my friend. You did a great job. This is nice. The layouts are really strong. Do you guys want to see some pixel inks, or have I overstayed my welcome here?
Let's do a quick look at them.
Okay.
This is a way different style.
Yeah, this looks different.
Pixel, if you didn't put your name on this, I wouldn't really know it was you right away.
You might want to get...
Caged animal, bite on this!
Nice try. Take it easy, man. You don't want to hurt anyone. That's what you think, numbnuts. One more step, and I'll fry your sorry ass.
Should I fire?
Are you nuts? Cage animal, bite on this. Oh, that is... You're speaking my language here, dude.
He smashed his visor.
Kicks him right in the head.
This is cool. It reminds me of DBZ.
Oh, I like this. Dude, you have a nice sense of style. You really do. Your layouts are pretty cool. This perspective's pretty good in that panel. I like all your shots. I think this shot and this shot, they're similar in size. Maybe if this guy maybe was a little bigger in the frame, because a lot of these figures are the same size. Or if that guy was a little bigger and maybe this was more of a close-up.
The pencils were the evolution of my work. So wait, did you do this before those pencils we just looked at then?
Lucky number 13. Crunch.
Rhaegar says, ever since the day he betrayed his fellow pixels, he was given great artistic talent, a Faustian bargain.
Ooh. Making a deal with the traitor. So it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, so he's zapping this guy, and then he's kicking lucky number 13.
Right in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently these inks came before the pencils you just looked at.
Okay. I'm having... So I think this is this guy's leg across here.
Oh, I totally misread that.
Yeah, at first I thought it was his leg bent,
Yeah.
but it's not. I think just possibly some clarifications, and I don't know how you would do that. I think maybe storytelling wise, perhaps there's too many things going on. If this energy thing wasn't there, because I think it makes your eye want to see that fist, and your main action's happening here and here. So I think I would try to put more of the emphasis on this here. So maybe even more crazy energy coming off the impact. You can still have that glow around him like he's being shocked, but maybe more emphasis on where the impact, so it's bigger here. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so it looks more like, I mean, the thing is it kind of hides the hand a little bit too much, but it looks like there's actually impact hitting here, and then he's being shocked all the way around. So there's a main source of the impact going on here. And if you take the power away from this fist and make the focus here, I think it'd be better. And then the kick, I don't know. I know this can kind of get corny, but maybe an impact here as well. I think the impact sometimes, I mean, there's a reason it exists in comics because it helps to isolate a moment and to show a focus.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
So if there's an impact here, and then this is more exaggerated, then I think it works a little bit better. And then, I don't know, I know that characters have this, but maybe if you minimize some of the energy glow. And the only reason I say that is because I think all of this here makes you want to look here and not here.
Yeah.
So the idea is you want to follow this guy across quickly. You don't want to look at this guy too long. You just want to register enough that this guy's coming into the frame, and then you kind of want to lock on these two beats. So I think the more that you can simplify this area and then amplify this area and this area, then you have more of a successful, I guess, image. And I would simplify some of your action lines here too. Sometimes less is more.
Let's see. Rhaegar wants to know if you're ready for Namor, the movie. And by that I think he means Aquaman.
We kind of talked about it a little bit on one of our YouTube chats. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I watched, gosh, what was it? I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp it was a couple days ago. We got it on Blu-ray. And there's a scene, have you seen it yet, Taylor?
No, I still haven't.
There's a scene where Ant-Man grows big. He's in like the San Francisco Bay, and he grows huge. And then I guess if he's big for too long, he gets kind of weirded out. His brain gets deprived of oxygen.
He can't breathe properly.
Yeah,
right?
It's something like that. And so he passes out and he falls back into the water, and then he sinks to the bottom of the bay. And all that underwater stuff is way better than one shot in the Aquaman trailer. It's totally convincing that they're underwater. It looks like they're underwater. Do you remember that there's a scene, is it in Avengers 1 or whatever, where Iron Man of all people flies under the water and he's welding that pipeline or whatever underwater? Like, I know it's all digital, but it really, really works. And I'm pretty sure that all that stuff with Ant-Man was all digital, but man, it was really good.
Apparently there's legitimate rumors that Namor actually is going to be in the MCU.
Well, based on what Marvel's already doing with their underwater effects,
pretty cool.
I think it's, I don't know. I'm not really convinced that that those actors are really underwater. A lot of those scenes, it's a little too heightened in an unrealistic way, and I don't really care for it.
Yeah, it's a little too Pirates of the Caribbean for me.
Yeah, and even the Pirates of the Caribbean, well, there were some more convincing shots in that, I thought, than in Aquaman. And I mean, for a character that's all underwater, you know, I think it, you got to spend the time. You got to make that work. It's like, the first Superman movie where you will believe a man can fly. Like, if they couldn't get you to believe that, then you don't have a movie. And I just feel like if you can't really believe Aquaman is underwater and all these things are real, then I just don't think you have a movie.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool stuff that it looks like's going on in that movie, but the underwater stuff is really, it's not really cool to me.
I agree.
Or working.
I guess Pixel has to take off and watch the rest another time. Thanks for joining us and submitting your work, Pixel.
Yeah. Thank you a lot, Pixel. You're very brave man. I just kid about, destroying wills and all that other stuff. I don't really mean it. I try to do this for the betterment of comics. So, Pixel, before you leave, I think this is a blood splat. So it looks like he's getting shot here and then he's falling back. But I think it's actually more immediate to show this and this than that impact there. It kind of confuses it. And also, I know that detail is cool, but this shell right here, a lot of the stuff is, it's messing with the intensity of this directness that's happening here. So I would simplify some of the stuff in between these two characters. But pretty cool. I like this graphic right here. It's really cool. Looks like a gate. This is really neat. It's a nice idea. Pixel's got a future as a comic artist.
Got some style.
Okay, we did
TC
that.
says Dream Destroyer Art.
Yes. No.
Dream Builder. Dream Weaver.
Dream Warrior. You old timers in the chat will know what that is. Look at this. This is very stylistic. Look at that. That's cool.
That's
And
some
look
neat
at
stuff.
look at this. Yeah.
Look at that tech. Those tech arms.
Yeah, this is very cool.
A lot of work put into this.
Yeah, a lot of thought. I think I would break this panel right here, though. Oh, I gotta switch this over into RGBs. There, give me a red. Right here, I think I'd break it.
Oh yeah, it's weird because the eye glow breaks it.
Yeah, I don't care for. I think that's always weird. I mean, either that or if you took. I mean, another way to resolve it is to take that out, and I think it looks better broken. Knowing you.
Dang, that's a big dude.
It's a huge dude. Those robot arms are cool, especially this one over here. This one right here. I keep feeling like you can't see. Like maybe if I move the screen over.
I mean, the view's pretty good on the actual.
Okay.
I think it's slightly wider than it.
All right, you guys. Look at the work in this. That's cool. Looks like a paste up actually.
Oh yeah.
It's like he pasted.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's paste up work. And then there's the robot arm. Look at that. Okay, here's a little way that you can clarify storytelling, guys. It's a little trick. You can put a white line across this. It's too big. Let me make it smaller. It's still a little big. Knowing you. And when you guys do this, do it on the same side of the line. So if you're going to go on the top of the line, go on the top of the line all the way through. Because if you don't, the colorist might accent this And if you build on like this side, you go on the other side of the line, then it's not going to have that follow through. It'll look weird. It'll look weird. And then here.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
You can do that, and then see how it all comes across. Yeah. So it helps clarify. The other thing you can do, and the only reason I didn't is because I didn't want to kill his wonderful robot arm, is if you just take all the lines out. Oh shoot, the battery's going. Shaky cam! I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I think my plug is upstairs for the charger. Okay guys, well, so that's a way that you can handle the action lines. This is really good, Pixel. Your layouts are really, really strong. Your drawing's good. I say just keep drawing. Just keep drawing, draw a lot. Keep striving to get better. And you did show a lot of courage sending your pages along. And I hope you found some inspiration and some encouragement. Oh, you do have a plug. Oh, cool.
I forgot about this.
Ooh. All right. Taylor's saving it. And then I wanted to say something. This is my shameless little moment here. I did this for a customer, and it was a Harley commission, obviously, and the deal fell through. He no longer wanted it for the weirdest of reasons, but he didn't want it anymore, so I'm going to refund his money. So I'm going to offer it to anybody who wants to buy it. It's up on the site, the Art by Thibert site right now. So it's, will it be in the link?
Yeah, I will add the link to the description if you want to pick up this Harley.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Taylor talk a little bit since she's been pretty quiet. She can wrap it up.
All right, so as you guys know, Art's pretty closed up for commissions this year. So if you were looking to get a Harley Quinn commission, as luck would have it, you can buy this one. It's excellent. Everybody's asking why he didn't want it. You wouldn't.
Okay. You know what? I don't care. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. You see this right here, and this, and this? I believe he didn't like that. So he didn't want it because of that. So I don't know what's wrong with that part of the drawing, but I find it kind of cool. And when I did it, I thought it was kind of inspired, but he didn't like it. So whatever.
Anyway, his losses could be your gain. So please like the video. It helps boost our views. We're trying to get monetized. We are not monetized yet.
We're close.
We are. We're getting there. So we do have a donate link. No pressure, but if you want to throw Art some cheddar, you can always hit that donate link.
And just know the cheddar I split with Taylor, so she'll get some of that cheddar too. Or
you can also buy a black and white book, because guess what? It's still in demand.
In demand? Really?
Yes, so if you missed your shot during the campaign proper, you can still visit the link and go get yourself a copy of black and white while it's still in demand.
Yeah, my wife just sent me she gave me a message, and she said we just went up. So people are still buying the black and white books like they're hotcakes. So yeah, so come on by. The tiers are still open as well, and I just wanted to emphasize I have this, which is a commission. It was the last commission I had on the list, so you can get this, and then there's a commission tier on the Indiegogo site as well, and I left that open just because it will be my last commission for this year. So the only place you're going to get, really me drawing, other than the drawn and quartered Mike Miller's show, is either this Harley or that commission tier. So that's pretty much it as far as commissions.
So don't miss your shot if you're looking to get a Harley, which is a very popular character commissioned by Art, as you can see why. You should totally pick this up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for when we go live next. And look at that.
Let me see. I got it's Dennis Lehman or Lehman. I think he's from Germany, and it's just a fan, like just a guy, trying to get some notice, trying to get some attention, And he just did this on his own. It wasn't solicited or anything. And he just took it right from, I think, my Facebook site, and he colored it up, did a digital color job, and it's amazing. Look at this thing. So if there's anybody out there, I don't know what his portfolio looks like, but Dennis's work looks pretty amazing. So look him up. I think his last name is spelled Lehmann, and I believe he's from Germany. So it's really good. It's really, really good. So
Pretty cool.
yeah, thanks, Dennis, for doing that. I just thought I would share. You know, he's not professional, but he soon will be with this type of work. So anyway, is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything. I'm going to put the link in the description for if you want to pick up a copy of Black and White, and if you want to pick up this Harley. But if you want to rush over there, because there's a couple people interested, it is on the Art by Thibert website, and it is under the covers and pinups section, I believe. It's listed there for sale.
Yeah, on the Art by Thibert site. So thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in next week when I destroy a whole new set of aspiring artists' souls and destroy them so they'll never ever want to pick up the pencil again.
And join us for Kiss Corner tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah, Kiss Corner tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 10, I believe.
Yeah, we're all three of us will be there. So it's so hard getting everybody's schedules to to work, but we have Scott Palacios as the historian, so he knows all, and then Kevin Conrad, yeah.
Yes.
Conrad will be back in. Wait, there's a Kevin Conroy. That's the Batman voice, right?
Yeah.
And there's Kevin Conrad. That's
the artist of Psycho Circus.
Yeah, it's the artist of Psycho Circus and of Spawn fame. And so if you haven't checked out any of those Kiss Corners, they're a lot of fun. And I think Kiss is the perfect gateway between heavy rock and comic books. So thanks, guys. Have a great Friday evening, and get out and watch Halloween. It's good.
See you guys tomorrow.